one of the craziest things that you can do as a developer is to build something in public and watch how it affects your trajectory. Yesterday or today, I got an email of someone saying that I should go through a catalog of career opportunities at TikTok and that he would write a recommendation for me
For you,
if I like find
something that
something
you
that I
like.
like. And I'm like,
Mm.
wow,
That's
that's like
crazy.
really cool. I don't see a lot of Nigerians. I think there are a lot of Nigerians that have been in public, but I don't see a lot as like I would like. I need more Nigerians to come out and like build in public.
What hasn't worked in the way that would have imagined it to?
The only thing for me that hasn't really worked is basically the marketing. What I'm trying to figure out is that marketing is actually hard when it comes to products.
How do you connect with the Cal.ai marketing agency?
They reached out to me.
Oh, they reached out
They
to
saw
you.
my page
Mhm.
of me building Supernote and then they sent me a message.
So you're one of the few devs that I know that can pass as a designer.
When I started, I wasn't a designer, but then I had to like pick out time to actually like learn how to design. So I think for about 1 year, I didn't write any code for the entire year. I was basically just designing for that year.
What if I told you that the most seasoned mobile developer you hear from this year is 23? Chizi has spent nearly a decade building high impact mobile products and now AI powered developer tools. Here's what makes him different. He skips Figma and skips design and goes directly into code. He's building solo, he's building fast, and he's building in public. Shipping tools like Instanote, Instalog, racking up thousands of users along the way. In this episode, we talk about building solo versus building with a co-founder, the real reason why he skips design, how he's using UGC as a growth mechanism, and why documentation is king and not code. You built two, like I guess, software apps like back to back. So the first one was
Yeah.
Instalog. You did Instalog. Now you did Supernote, which is the AI one that's getting more
Yeah.
attention. And did everything like solo, without anybody, without like a complete team. It's just you and your laptop. And you've continued to do this on like going from 0 users to right now. Like you said, you sent a bunch of screenshots and there are like a couple hundred users coming into the product, and literally you're just
Yeah.
23. When I saw 23 on your Twitter bio, I was like, wait, is this real? Is that your age or is that something else? Because bro, like you're done with school. Like when did you? How did
I'm
all
not
of that
done.
happen?
No.
Are you done with school?
Actually, no.
Oh, I thought you were done. But I mean, if
But the thing is that I've been to like 3 schools.
you've what?
I've been to like 3 schools.
Oh, okay, what's the story?
Well, I think the first school I was at was UNN, University of Nigeria, Nsukka.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when I gained admission in 2017. I was there for like the first year. Then our second year, I decided to switch from electrical engineering to computer science. And then I switched, and I was like second year again. And then third year, I just left.
Okay, so you were just tired.
Yeah, I was just tired. And then I got admission to University of London, and I did only 1 year.
Oh, and you came back. Why? Why can't come?
Well, well, it was really expensive. That's the thing. And I was working, so I was like, I need to pick between school and work because I cannot be working to pay school fees.
School
I needed to
fees.
do other
Okay.
things with money.
Mm,
Yeah, so I decided to just pick work first.
mm,
Yeah. But anyways,
interesting.
it's something that I'll still go back to. I've tried going back again one more time, but well, that
It's not the
attempt
right time. You'll
was
find the right
very
time. It's a timing
it's not
thing
in the
for
right
me. Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back a bit, like to, I guess, let's fast forward to the present, which is like
yeah.
what you're doing, like building solo, being an indie developer. What's the story there?
Well, the story is simple to be honest. I was working for a company up until I think April this year, but from last year I was already seeing some quirky signs uh, if you worked at startups and businesses for a while, you'd have some idea when things are not particularly going right.
Mm.
So I decided to like just start like building something that I thought was like really nice. I think like it's still a really cool idea. And that was Instalog. I drew up the features a long time ago. Actually, when I looked at my notes, I was like, wow, I actually wrote down things for Instalog around August last year, but I didn't do anything about it for a very long time until around November, December, and then I didn't even at that I didn't really even start in full force until January.
Mm.
So when the company I was working for eventually shut down, um, I decided to just go full into building like tools for myself. I was like, wow, I've been working for a lot of companies over the past 8, 9, going to almost 10 years, and I've not like had like a solo project per se that is out there, and it's like people are actually using it. And I decided to like build Instalog completely. So I started up the back end, had to do the back end in Rust because I was like, oh, let me just try like a new programming language and try to like learn Rust also while building something new. So I picked up Rust, also built the front end, and then the hardest part was like building the SDKs for Android, for iOS, for basically Expo, React Native, Flutter, for all the major mobile platforms and cross platforms. And eventually, I was able to like integrate the AI engine into it that made it like really work. And it was really good. It's really fun, or it was really fun building it. And it's it works. The problem is not whether it works. The problem is convincing people
Getting
to use it.
attention. Hmm.
So that's the thing. So marketing, like I've learned in my experience, is the major thing that is really important in any product that you're building. Especially for something like Instalog that is basically a developer tool. So it requires you convincing developers who are very stuck in their ways to switch from something that they trust and they are very used to something that they wouldn't particularly like use something new. And developers are very skeptical to switching to new
Tools.
technologies, except they see one of their influencers or their
Using it.
um, tech,
Yeah.
will I say, people that they regard in like very, people that they hold in very hard regard.
I guess.
Maybe it's one of the US influencer, maybe Fireship or maybe Theo or anyone that they look up to just brings it up and then you're like, oh wow, like let's try this thing because someone says or because this influencer says it's good. That's why for developer tools, you'll see a lot of them getting pushed by tech influencers and
Dev advocates,
people
stuff like
that are
that.
really like influential when it comes to like developer relations and also like speaking to developers and anything that has to do with like community because you need a community behind any developer tool you're
Tool you're
building.
building.
That's literally your first line of marketing. That's like your first um, or your first customers will come from that community essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, Instalog is still fully functional, although I'm still like looking into like improving it, but I haven't had the chance to do that yet because I'm focusing like on a lot of other projects. I have like a goal to build at least 4 or 5 projects this year, and I've built like two
To
or
to
three.
to
So I still have
download.
like a lot, like 2 or 3 more to build before the year runs out.
Yeah. Why you when do you decide that it's time to build something else? Like it's time to pivot. Is it because you already have a number, so you're like chasing that? Or
I don't particularly have a number. I just like, oh, I have like when I have a nicer idea, I think when I have an idea like, oh wow, like this is really nice, this is really cool. Let me build this.
so that's really
So
the motivation. Just You're just curious. You're just
Exactly.
following your curiosity and
Yeah,
wherever that leads
essentially.
you. Yeah. You're deciding to build solo. Why? I have an idea of what your answer could be, but I'm curious.
Well, the major reason I decided to build solo is that I have worked as a developer and an engineer on a couple of or a lot of projects actually, and I understand the dynamics when it comes to like building a tool as like the first like hands to touch that like software, especially when it's being bootstrapped. It's not really a nice experience if you don't have like any other thing doing because like in terms of like compensation, well, I'm thinking about, oh, I want to like pay someone for this. I'm always thinking of if I'm working for if I'm working on anything, I always want to pay people because I understand what it means to work on things and not get paid. So one of my goals is that if I'm working on anything with anybody and you're not working on it for me for free, or you decided like you want to be paid, I will have to pay you what you're worth. And it's very expensive to pay people what they are worth, especially in this part of the world or in any part of the world, to be honest. And for me, I like building things. So I'm like, oh, I could just actually build it. And another thing I really hate, apart from like the money thing, is basically chasing people. I don't like chasing people. I'm not great at chasing people because I believe that if someone gives you something to do, you are responsible enough to like
Making
do that
them.
thing and get back to the person. And if you're not able to complete it, you're also able to tell them, "Oh, I'm not able to complete this in the given time." And basically, you're the one that's giving the time to complete it. You're the one that's coming back to report when you can't complete it in that same time that you gave, and you're also the one that's going to eventually complete it in whatever time you're given as a maybe will I say secondary time or additional time that you want to use. So um, that's another thing. I just think about like working with people, and I'm like, it's really nice, it's really cool. I've worked with a couple of friends, I've worked with a couple of like other people. But when I'm like building stuff for myself, I like to move extremely fast, and I don't like chasing people, and that's basically it.
Not your score strength.
It's not my strength at all. Like if I start chasing people too much, I feel bad, and I hate being micromanaged. So I hate micromanaging people.
Oh, okay, okay. So what's
And
the
I understand why a lot of managers micromanage because a lot of people don't have that experience in handling like freedom when it comes to like tasks and like estimating their time and being able to use their time effectively and give updates. So
fair, fair. What would you say is the most mentally taxing part of building solo?
is the most mentally tasking part is trying to identify what you're actually building, the idea. If you're able to fully scope out a good idea, then you're basically done with building the product. All you just need to do is just to bring it into existence. The hardest part of any product for me is always the ideation phase. It's always the thinking about, oh, what should I build? How should I build it? And what exactly am I supposed to build here? Once you're able to like get that through, you're basically like already halfway there.
Yeah. And I realized that you're building everything from Instalog, Supernote, you're building it in public. Why build
Yeah.
that way? And what are you still figuring out?
So the thing is that if you're building in private, the whole point of building for me is to build and to show people that, oh, this is possible. I'm not just building to like say, oh, I built this. I'm also building to show people that, oh, you can actually do this. You can actually build something like this, and like these are the tools. Like look at the steps and the processes um, involved in if you want to build something like this, and it's basically like a show and tell. So me building in public is also me kind of contributing to the community because I don't see a lot of Nigerians. I think there are a lot of Nigerians that build in public, but I don't see a lot as like I would like. I need more Nigerians to come out and like build in public, and not just even Nigerians, more people in general
Mm.
to come out and build in public because one of the craziest things that you can do as a developer is to build something in public and watch how
Watch
it
it grow.
affects
Hmm.
your trajectory, both in your career, both in your development, both in all these different areas. So
What has
it's
personally changed
really
for you? What have you found to
I
have
mean,
personally
like
changed?
I've gotten a lot of engagement. I've gotten a couple of like job offers. I've also gotten a lot more like insights into the projects that I'm working on, a lot more ideas. I've gotten feedback. I've been able to spot like issues, fix them faster, iterate on them, and develop new ideas, find new solutions to new problems. So, like when you're building in public, it's no longer like you're building solo. It's more like you're building with a bunch of people, and some of them are willing to help, some of them are not, some of them are
Mm.
willing to improve, some others are just watching and waiting. And another good thing that building in public does is that um, a lot of people don't know that when you build in public and you talk about it, there are a lot of people that are watching you. There are a lot of people that are seeing it, and most of the time, you might not see anything immediately. It might take a while, but at the same time, people are actually watching. People are
There's a
seeing
ripple
things,
effect.
and
Yeah.
then yeah, in the future, if someone wants to do something, they're like they think about it, like okay, I've been seeing this guy's like project. I've been seeing this person's work,
Yeah.
and I think I can recommend them to like uh to something. I think yesterday or today I got like an email
Mm.
of someone like saying that that I should go through um a catalog of like basically the career opportunities at TikTok, and that he would write a recommendation for
For
me
you,
if I like find like
something that
something
you
that I
like.
like, and I'm like
Mm.
wow,
That's
that's like
crazy.
really cool, that's really nice.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things
Is
that
this
happen
some?
like
Is it
when
like
you
a
see your work.
recruiter or is like someone from the
Like it's an engineer. It's kind of like a
engineer?
Nigerian who
Okay.
like works
Mm.
at TikTok already.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Is this something that you're looking
the
to
thing is,
pursue, or no?
I don't know. I'm still like evaluating like a couple of options. So anyone that works for me right now.
Yeah. So something that you're
So
also sort of saying is that building in public gives you options. Like now you're
yeah,
deciding,
it
you're
gives you
viewing
options.
exactly.
Yeah, and also it speaks a lot louder than you could like speak on your own.
Yeah, it's just proof of
So that
work, and that's it just speaks for you.
essentially that's it.
Exactly.
So anytime anyone has like questions, like you would legit be on your own and people will be recommending you, will be talking about you. Be like
True.
when you're not even in those places, someone will like, oh, I saw this guy like did this and all, and like, I think we should like get in touch with him, and
You
I
should
think
get
we
in
can recommend him
touch.
for him, about
Yeah.
him that, and that's basically it.
What hasn't worked in the way that you have would have imagined it to?
I think the only thing for me that hasn't really worked is basically the marketing, because what I'm trying to figure out is that marketing is actually hard when it comes to um, products, especially like marketing, like developer tools, and then marketing mobile applications also. So for example, developer tools, you pretty much just need a bunch of like people or like let's say tech influencers, like I already said, to
Mm.
vouch for your product, and you also have to have a very good product because you're building for developers, and they are going to come with all the need that they
Mm.
can muster. So you have to like ensure that your product is good, your product is solid, and you have like top people that are willing to vouch and say that your product is the best project they've ever used in their entire life. And then you get like a lot of initial customers, and then you lock in those customers, and then you build a community behind it, and then you
Yeah.
keep iterating. So it's pretty straightforward if you're building that. but it takes a longer time to make a lot of money because initially I'm just going to be focused on developers who are trying to convince their boss at work that they need to switch to a new tool, and that might take a while. We are trying to convince companies that they should switch from
Do
what they are
something
currently
else.
using to your product. And B2B is always very slow, except you have a really exceptional project that people are really like bidding for. So that's the thing. If the people are the ones that are telling you, or if the company is telling you that, oh, come, we want to use your project, we want to use your product, is a lot different from you saying, I think you guys should use my product. I think you guys should use my, like, so those are like two different ball games. One is you're the one that's asking for it. The other one is that they're the ones that are asking for it. And it's a lot faster if they are the ones that are asking for it than if you're the one asking for it, because most of the time there's a lot of like initial, like, um, will I say, resistance to that. But for mobile applications, it's pretty straightforward. And right now, the go-to for everybody is influencer marketing and
UGC.
user-generated content, UGC. So you need to, and it's a bit costly because you have to, like, now I had to like delve and learn what is going on in the world of ASO, what's going on in the world of UGC, what's going on in the world of making your own content, what are the trade-offs between like creating your own accounts or hiring like people to like create those accounts and all. So that's the thing. If you have time, it takes a lot of your time because you're going to be spending essentially all your time on
Figuring
marketing.
out the right
So if you
funnel channels.
you can direct all that money into maybe an agency or an army of creators that are going to essentially do the work for you if you don't have that time or the strength to go deep into that, because there's a lot that goes into it, especially when it comes to TikTok, because most people like to target US market because that's the market that has the largest amount of people who are willing to bring out their ATM cards or their debit or credit cards and pay for your software or your app or whatever you're selling. And they're the ones that are going to also resubscribe, or they're the ones that are willing to like pay for it month on month. Um, they have the like highest demographic of like subscribers of any platform that you want to sell on like the mobile market. So you're basically having to go to TikTok to talk to a bunch of content creators, or get your own in-house content creator, or get or start creating content
By
yourself,
yourself.
uh, or you pay a developer agency. So I think I had a meeting with one of these developer agencies. I think the guys that did the marketing for Cal AI, and they pretty much told me that for them to like start on a project, you need to bring around $10,000, that's like $10K, and then
Starting
once you bring that
price.
$10K, they would get a couple of influencers, and then they'll have like a content manager that would manage those influencers. So they create like small micro teams. It's just like essentially how if you are in a company and then they break down tasks into like teams. In this route, we break down the content into like teams of content creators with a manager that basically manages same thing as like a product manager would do. They manage the content that the content creators are creating. They ensure that the content is posted on time and on schedule and is in line with whatever like your needs as a company or a brand is. And then they do it and then they get paid, and then you get your conversions, and they can promise you like for sure that, oh, you're going to get like this level of engagement, and you get that level of engagement because they were able to build their network of both AI and human like content creators to flood the entire market, which is pretty much what Clearly did. And you just get a bunch of these um, solutions, and then you pay for marketing to them, and then they subcontract it and create like an entire network of content creators, TikTok accounts, Meta ads, Facebook ads, also Google ads and YouTube videos, and then you flood the entire internet with marketing, and it works. Why? Because a lot of the major reason is because people don't want to miss out. So once something starts trending or once it goes viral, then everybody wants to use the new viral app or the new trending app because like nobody wants to be talking about, oh, have you heard of this app? And the other person is like, oh no, I've not heard of that app. No, you haven't heard of that app. And the next thing, the next obvious action is to go download the app that you've never heard of to just see, oh, what's this about? And trust me, within the first like 4 or 5 clicks, you're already in the subscription. So that's
Yeah.
basically that's basically how they do it.
How do
So
you connect with the Cal.ai marketing
actually,
agency?
they reached out to me.
Oh, they reached out
They
to
saw
you.
my tweet
Mm-hmm.
of me building Supernote, and then they sent me a message. They actually, I was even reluctant to meet with them because I was just like, who are these guys? And oh, but they kept like DMing. I think the CEO DM'd, and then the official like company's page also DM'd. Like, I think that's one thing they also do right now. They look for apps that they think would do well, and then they come to you, and then they offer you their marketing plans and their packages, and then they get people to pay for them, and then that's basically how they. So it's like sales for them, and also their own type of marketing because they're a
Mm.
marketing company. So that's their own strategy to get their own customers. Um, and also by hopping on the train of the viral apps that they've already created to essentially sell the idea that, well, yeah, we made this app viral, we can make your own app also viral. So
Yeah, getting people to pay attention in the world where there's just a lot of distractions. Everybody's growing this
mhm.
very slim
Yeah,
attention span.
everyone is trying to make everyone pay attention. So
Yep. So you're one of the few devs that I know that can pass as a designer, right? So from your like fine taste in like design to the bar that you've set for yourself. So like your work from Juicy Way, what I've seen the apps that you just released, Insta Instalog, and then Notes app that you just did.
yeah.
Um, how did you develop this talent to go from straight to code, right? So you skip design and go straight to code. It's quite rare. Not a lot of people can do that.
I mean, like initially when I started, I wasn't a designer, but then I had to like take out time to actually like learn how to design. So I think for about 1 year, I didn't write any code for the entire year. I was basically just designing for that year. And then the next year I went back to writing
Code.
code.
Wow.
I was able to like also like design and write code. And I think another thing that really helps is that in a lot of my roles, I have to also be part of the designing. Because when you work at like startups, that's another thing that happens. You wear many hats. So, for example, at the Juicy Way, we didn't have a designer for almost like 3 years. So technically for almost 3 years, we didn't have like a designer, and we had to go to markets. We had to have like a mobile
Something.
application. So basically what they just did was that, oh yeah, like we have the APIs ready, and I was like, okay, no problem. They now like gave me the APIs. They built like a web version that was sort of like working already. I was like, okay, no problem, I'll just look at the web and the APIs and create something from it. And then I built like the first version because I didn't really want to go into Figma. I think at a while we had a designer, but the designer left. Actually, initially we had a designer, but the designer left.
Yeah.
So he had like a, a, a couple of like components that already existed, but none of them were like matching to because we have pivoted like a couple of times. We've
Couple
done like
times.
2 or 3 pivots over the years, and I had to like just scrap some components and like completely like rebuild everything without even like looking
Paying
at
mind
Figma anymore.
to.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Um, one of the easy ways I would say is by looking at apps that are already in production, like just like spend a lot of time looking at apps that already exist. It helps a lot to know what could work and what might not work, and what looks good and what doesn't look good. So that's the thing. Like once I like look at the design, I'm able to like know, oh, does this look good somewhat in my head? And I'm like, uh, and for every time I'm trying to like start like a new project from scratch without any design, skipping the design step mostly because I need to like do a an MVP.
Mm.
Basically, I need to like validate the idea, and if I'm
The
able to
working
like
prototype. Mm.
a yeah a working prototype, something that I see that works, I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. I can just completely skip the entire design process and build on that MVP and keep improving it. So for me, instead of like going to Figma to like first of all like draft out like some things, um, I just use Figma to do if I'm like designing like app screenshots, if I'm designing like components that I need to like put specific like SVG or maybe I need to like design a specific type of like the logo of the app or something like that.
Mm.
That's like the time I use Figma. I need to like actually just sit down and design. But if I'm actually
Something.
like or I could just do maybe the like one or two screens. I even stopped even doing that because I realized like I didn't even need to even do that most of the time. I just go straight and then I'll just like write the code to draft out like what I'm trying to create. And as I am building it, if I see like things that don't look right, I'm like modifying the code
So
to
you're
like
changing on the fly. You're iterating on the
actually I'm
fly.
doing it on the fly. I'm activating it. Um, modifying it and like it's almost as fast as like if I was doing like a drag and drop with Figma and like testing out because I can easily just like write the code to change the color. It's even a bit even faster than um like going to click on the button and going to click on the colors. So once I do that, automatically like it just appears on the app and I'm like, oh okay, that looks nice. That doesn't look nice. If it doesn't look good, I just completely scrap it and move things around because I already have like a map of like the entire screen in my head, so I know like where to place what. Because I already explained this in one of my first articles on how to like visualize like UI when you're like writing code and when you're like designing. So like it's basically like a block of boxes and those boxes are like inside one another. So if you can arrange them in like rows or columns and move things around. So once you're like able to visualize like UI user interfaces in that way, like everything just looks like a big map, and then you can just play with like everything and
Be around.
um
Mm.
the rest is just basically following like the design rules, like learning how to use colors, learning how to use like shadows, learning how to like interact and experiment and like break the rules, but kind of get away with it. So
Yeah.
and also
What What's your biggest advice to devs that are trying to do their stuff solo, but they feel like they don't quite have all the tools and skills that they need?
I think that in 2025, it's not valid to say you don't have all the tools and things that you need anymore because if you wanted to learn anything, like you're like literally 4 or 5 clicks away from like learning anything you wanted to learn. And the only thing that it takes away from you is just your time. So if you're willing or if you have the time to go deep into anything and practice, and there are a lot of like platforms that allow you to practice anything. For example, if you wanted to like learn design, you could like you just like open Figma and for free you're able to like do things on Figma. If you wanted to learn how to code, you could just open your code editor and now we have like cursor that can basically tell you or like basically has like AI directly integrated into it and you can legit just learn if you want to. So there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of resources, like AI would correct you, tell you AI is pretty good at writing code, extremely good at writing code right now. And the only thing you would like need to just do is tell it to like create a study plan for you and it would let it create that study plan for you. So if you want to learn anything, if you want to learn how to write code, if you want to learn how to design, there are lots of design courses that are free, there are a lot of design courses that are paid, and there's also like guidelines for the different like operating system. I think material design have their own guidelines. So that's like a very good place to start. Also, Apple has their human interface design or human interactive design. documentations, and you can let it like you can just go through all the documentations, and um that is why I also say that the documentations are very important because everything, even the AIs, they get all the information from the documentation. And AI works best when you give it like documentations to reference, so it knows like and can tell you like, oh, this is what exists, this is what doesn't exist. So if you can also go down into documentation yourself and like read through, you'll learn a lot of things that might give you an edge over a lot of other people. Because the difference between like a very like senior person and a very junior person is in the things that they've learned that make their job easier and make things easier that other people don't know and spend a lot of time trying to like figure out like along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I had one question. It's going to take us back a bit, but we're
No
talking
problem.
about building solo.
Yeah.
But if you needed to hire someone, right? Who that person? Who are going to be the first two hires that you make? What roles would that be?
It depends. That's the thing. If I needed to hire someone, it'd probably be marketing because that's like one of the most important things for me right now. Someone that's really good at marketing, essentially someone that knows and understands marketing in a 2025 context because marketing is something that evolves. And
Evolves.
if you've not really been in that space, and that's why I see a lot of Nigerian startups that are currently missing out on the current opportunities that marketing in this like current like AI driven age has given them. I think we're going to catch up, but it's going to be a bit slower than like
Of the world.
the rest of the world because right now everyone has basically turned into content creators. If you see any startup, the first thing you're seeing is their launch video, and their launch video is styled exactly like what content creators would do. And
Make. Mm.
basically, you've turned to content creators, and now I'm not seeing any Nigerian startup that's yet to
That has
go
gone
with that
that video
have
first
gone that route.
marketing.
I've not seen like I've not seen any Nigerian top CEO or top founder that's creating content right now. And I think the first few people to do that are going to get a lot of traction on whatever they are doing and whatever they are building.
Even on
Because
the global scale, especially on the global scale.
yeah, even on the global
Um,
scale and the local scale, both on the local and on the global, but it's going to be really great traction for whatever they're building. And I really hope that we tap into that before it's like maybe too late. I don't think it can ever be too late, but like we can still hop into it ahead of time.
yeah. And just speaking of people that are tapping into things early, I would definitely call your name. Like you're definitely going to be like top five people. In terms of people that are trying different things, like tech talent in Nigeria from out of Nigeria, that are trying things and building on a global stage
I mean, I
back to
like
back. I'll call you. I'll call this guy is a designer. Design Chief Priest was also on the podcast. There are a bunch of people, but you're definitely like top five for sure. So
yeah, I
well
know
done.
because
Shout out.
like I love jumping on new trends. In fact, my entire career is based on me going off on
Mutiny.
the leading edge of things. For example, when I started doing Flutter, I don't know if there was any like it was pretty new. I was one of the first people to do Flutter in this part of the world, like to write like Flutter that and start talking about it and also start pushing it and also start like talking about like a community and also like encouraging people. A lot of people meet me and they're like, oh wow, like I remember when like we were like still doing like native Android and you guys like, were still like
I'd
talking
already
about like Flutter
pivoted.
and that and like everyone was like, oh like what is this like brand new technology from Google that nobody knows and is probably going to get like scrapped in the next 10 years or next like sorry 2 or 3 years, not even up to 10 years because it just predicted I would just go down like after like a few years. And then everyone was like, oh, there's already React Native. Why do we need like Flutter? Um,
Flutter.
and also like for the Web3, I also started like building with crypto, like right on cue with when crypto became like very popular. And I worked for like a couple of crypto startups, and even I think one of the first and one of the biggest companies in crypto that back then was like Tendermint, that built like the Cosmos network. And it was nice, it was good. I still like have a lot of experience when it comes to building Web3. So like I gone really deep down into like the depths of like blockchain technologies, and most of my work sometimes still falls around that space. But I decided to like also jump on the AI train a bit early, also
as
not as
well.
early as I would. Like, I wish I'd jumped on it
You
like
would.
2021, 2022. But I think I did, but I was basically on the research experimental phase of basically learning. I started learning how to like train models and like deeper into the technical, very technical parts of the machine learning. But like last year, I think around last year, I decided to like just skip that part for a bit and like brush up on it and jump right straight into the application and basically the the more will I say economic side of it, where like it's being applied and it's being used at the consumer level and also at like the business level, like where it actually provides value. Because you could build like an amazing model, and if it's not able to get into the hands of people, then what's the point of having that amazing model? And that's basically what OpenAI was able to do
Do.
for the world, because a lot of people have been building machine learning models. A lot of people have been before OpenAI, they've been building like AI. Oh, even IBM was one of the first companies to get in on artificial intelligence, but they are literally nowhere in the race today. I don't even know how that happened,
Where
because
how they're faring.
when you talk about AI, you couldn't remove IBM 5 years ago from the equation, but now they are completely lost. And then we have companies like Cursor and Claude and Super Memory and just a bunch of random lovable boards or that just literally came out like 2 3 years ago, and they're already unicorn in 3 4. Yeah, and they are dominating the market in ways that IBM can't even like boast of or could never boast of in all their years of building AI models and building machine learning models and building real world applications for AI. They were never able to figure out how to like bring it to consumers, and that was like the biggest problem. And OpenAI literally showed the world that it was possible to like build AI applications and make them consumer first instead of traditionally like opting into B2B. And once the businesses saw the applications that it could have for their customers, they automatically just keyed in. So
Yeah, that's true. I wanted us to do a quick warm up, sort of like an icebreaker. So I'm going to, I'm going to list out like it. I'm going to just say a sentence, and it's going to be incomplete. You're just going to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
no problem.
Cool. So are you ready?
Okay, yeah.
All right. So designers should stop doing. You're thinking.
I think sorry, I have to always think it's a bad habit. I
Hey,
always think about
we'll
whatever
go
I want to
again.
say.
We'll go again. Cool. So designers should stop doing.
Things that require me to open dev mode.
Wow. What could those things be?
I don't know, like naming things in ways that would not display properly, and maybe not improper
Fair.
use of like maybe tokens or something.
Okay. So second one, AI will never replace.
I mean, it will replace us. Given time, it will replace us. I'm a strong believer that we need AI as much as AI needs us.
That's
And
a
the day
really
it stops
solid answer.
needing us is the day that we no longer need it.
True, 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 true. Flutter is
Pretty good and useful.
nice. That was fast. That was fast. That's your fastest. Actually, the AI one was the fastest. Yeah, I think that's the end. That's the end of the session. It was I was supposed to do it earlier, but I forgot. It was really supposed to break the
Oh, no
ice,
problem.
all of that good stuff. Yeah. So I mean, building like for a global market from Nigeria solo. I mean, there are a lot of lessons that you must have learned along the way. What's underestimated about the experience?
I think one thing that's underestimated about the experience is the amount of impact you can have globally and the amount of people that you can reach out to, and essentially what you can create. There's no limit to what you can create, and there's no limit to what you can sell and where you can sell it. The mobile market is one of the easiest places to build something and sell on a global scale, but doesn't also mean that it's not also one of the hardest like places to actually market your product on, because the competition is insane. Trust me, if you have an idea for an app, someone has
Has
definitely
already done
built
it
it.
down
So,
to the
but
name.
exactly down to
Down to the name.
exact
Ah,
name,
don't
the
play.
exact everything, the
Yeah.
exact all your features, every like someone has already done it, and there's chances that they've done it better than you could ever do it because they've had lots of time to like iterate and build and improve their app. So now you coming into the market, your only job is to be the new shiny app in the corner that everybody's talking about. And that's what gets people to leave those like solid fancy apps and come to your new solution. For example, the only reason why people started using the T app is not like they don't have
Virality.
their phone. It's not like they don't have Tinder on their phones. They are probably even paying for subscription on Tinder. They are paying for subscription on Bumble. They are paying for subscription on a bunch of other dating apps. But they still downloaded and they still paid for the T app because everyone was talking about it, and that is what makes the difference. And for mobile applications, it's easy to make a lot of money because you're automatically building recurring income once you implement a subscription model. And you don't have to ask for a lot of money like ahead of time. You could legit ask for something as small as maybe $1 to $3 per month or per week, because one of the craziest things that I noticed was a lot of people would prefer to, especially a lot of people in the US would prefer to pay for things weekly, prefer to pay like $10 per week instead of paying $30
Per
per
month.
month, or in fact even $25 per month. They'd rather pay $10 every week because they think that, oh, after this week I won't need the app anymore, I'll cancel it. That week will pass. They'll be like, okay, I've not uninstalled the app. I think
Let's
I still
see.
need it.
Yeah.
So that's it. And basically your biggest goal as an app would be to remain on the devices of a paying customer. So you don't want to get deleted. You are basically like a virus that enters into their pocket and sits there very quietly. And you can choose any of two ways. You can be very quiet and just like people forget about you, but they're just like, oh, okay, like $1, $3 every month, $3, just three. But that's also not very good because they're very like unbalanced place to be, or you can be that app that's always shouting at users to pay for subscriptions and literally force them to use the app. And um, whatever strategy you decide to use, the goal is to get those customers to come back every month and drop their money.
Again. Yeah.
So
Are you paying for Twitter? I want
yeah,
to know what is that product for you today?
I've been paying for Twitter for a while, but at this point, Twitter pays for itself
Okay,
because I'm still
engagement.
part of the creator revenue sharing program. I know I heard a bunch of Nigerians were dropped, or Nigeria was dropped from the program. I'm not sure because
Didn't
I
hear
think
that.
a lot of people were talking about how like Nigerians don't get paid anymore for that program. For me, I don't think I set up my account in Nigeria. I set it up in the US. So Whatever money I'm making goes directly to Stripe, which goes directly to my account automatically. Um,
What account is that? Is this Stripe a Stripe account
yeah.
or
And so, like the Stripe account is a Stripe Express account. So the Stripe Express account is linked directly to a bank account, a US bank
okay?
account. So once the money goes to Stripe, Stripe automatically pays it out
Whatever
to
account is
whatever bank account
connected.
you're attached to. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's easier than people think building on a global stage? What is
I
easier and
think
then what is harder?
the actually is the building that is actually easier than people think. The hard part, like I said earlier, is the ideas, the ideation phase. This is the hard phase. If you're able to get past the idea and you have a very good idea and you think that that idea is extremely good and very unique, then you've solved half of your problem. The building is the easy part. Once you have the idea, you can build an MVP, a prototype, something that works in like a few days, and then you test it out with like real customers and you ask for feedback, and then you go back and you like build something better, and then you keep building and you keep talking about it and you keep marketing and keep pushing it.
What are the top three moments of your journey that still surprises you today?
Mm, that's pretty hard. Because there are a lot of moments that surprise me. I mean, I think when I got my job at Tendermint, that was really surprising because I didn't really expect that at that point. And then that's nice and good, but some people are going to go because they already have staff that exist in that company. Um, the second thing is that if you're acquiring your company, they either have two options, like either they're keeping the product or they're killing your product. So any company that's coming to acquire like another company, most people think that they are coming to acquire it because they believe in that company. No, a lot of companies acquire their competitors so they can kill the project. Not necessarily to grow the project. It's so that they can basically just absorb it
Dominate the
and
market.
just
Take
dominate the
that market
market
share.
and total market control. Just like how Slack was acquired by Salesforce. People ask like, why did Salesforce acquire Slack? Like they don't even like exist in the same industry. But these are the kind of things that happen in like big tech. And so once you just like see, and I think if your company raises a lot of money, one would think that, oh yeah, that's a really nice time to ask for a raise. Sure, it is a nice time to ask for a raise, but it's also a nice time for investors to say, oh, I think you guys should like cut down on your staffs also.
I
And
didn't think can
so
be
there's
happening.
no win in a company like
Yeah.
startup. Your company gets sold also, you might think that, oh wow, I'm getting a huge paycheck. That's not always the case. You might not be getting anything at all based on how the company was sold. Very good example is what happened to these guys. What's their name? Recently, I don't know the one that they were the top executive was pushed by Google and basically left the rest of the company. I think it was what was the name
Okay,
again?
it was one of these. Oh, no, it wasn't that. I think they had to join one of these top AI companies, right? It has something to do with Wave.
Um,
Uh,
Windsoft.
Windsurf. I know it has something to do with waves and surf. Yeah.
Yes, it was Windsoft.
Yeah.
So exactly. So that's exactly what happened in Windsoft. Like everyone was hearing that, oh, you're about to get acquired by OpenAI. Oh, nice. Next thing, half of
They just
the
joined
team
these
is
other
gone.
guys. But I think
All
something
team.
fell through in the deal or something. I've been hearing some rumors. But
No, no.
whatever
The
it is.
CEOs just they just provided a lot more money. To be honest, the if they had sold to Microsoft or OpenAI, they would have had to share the money in a lot more hands and to a lot more like people. So they
They
decided that
didn't
it was
go for
better
that
to
option.
take a lot more money and share with less people than like I mean it's basic math that any like most humans would do. You're giving them like money to share with people, and then you have like the power to pick which siblings that you share the money to. You probably pick the least amount of siblings and share the largest amount of money with them. So that's basically what like they did.
Yeah. So you have a lot of experience building like from zero to almost like one, right? And then because of your experience with working in all these other bigger startups, you've done like one to say 100. In those pockets of time, what is most what which one do you think is hardest technically and mentally?
Technically, the hardest part is moving from having, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 users into 100,000 users. A lot of companies, they get easily to the 50,000 user, 5,000 user, or like that sort of, like, depending on the business and the
Industry.
industry. You can get to like maybe 10,000 user, monthly active users, cap. But then breaking out from that limit is where the real problem comes, because once you start saying, "Oh, I have to break out and get to maybe 100,000 users, 1 million users," now you're talking about building for people in different countries, globalization. And then once you start doing anything that has to do on, like, on the global scale, you have to now talk about, oh, I need to localize my app, or I need to internalize my platform, or internationalize my platform. Sorry, I need to this thing, do accessibility. I need to do market research for the different markets. I know how to um, like
Develop the
put my business there, because if you look at companies that are on a global scale, let's take for instance the ones we have in Nigeria, maybe Paystack, Flutterwave, you'd see that these people operate on a global scale and they have targeted other markets apart from the market that they started from. So that's one thing I need a lot of more companies in Nigeria to be able to do, to be able to like say, oh, I know that we started and our first users were Nigerian, but maybe we should build first for like maybe the global market, because it's a lot easier to go to that 100,000 users if from the start you already knew or you already made plans to serve
go
a global
global.
market, instead of like maybe I want to serve like the students in only this school or this university. So any idea you're having, think about how you can scale it globally first before thinking on how you can downsize it. So if you're able to like think and plan for a global scale, then you can downsize it and then start from like a smaller space, with the goal that you're still going to expand globally and with a framework that allows you to grow. So it's essentially keeping room for yourself to grow ahead of time, so you don't get to a limits and then you realize that, oh, for me to leave or escape this particular limit, I need to do a lot more things than I bargained to do initially.
So we're gonna do another icebreaker. It's called Kiss, Marry, Kill.
Ah,
It's not what you think. But yeah,
then
I'm
I'm
gonna
next.
list three products and you're going to now decide. So first option is GitHub Copilot, Cursor, ChatGPT.
We can kill Copilot,
Yeah, that was quick.
because even though we like it, I don't think Copilot getting is getting there as much as I think it was one of the first to get there, but he lost the mark a long time ago, and I don't. He has never been able to regain that footing that he lost. Um, then Koso. Did you say Koso?
Yeah.
Well, Koso is pretty good. So I don't know, one of the options. And then GitHub. GitHub is one of my favorite platforms of all time.
No, no, I didn't say GitHub. I
Literally.
said GitHub, like Copilot is GitHub products. I said GitHub Copilot.
Oh, okay. Okay, no,
Cursor and
okay,
then
no, okay, no,
ChatGPT.
Copilot, then kill. ChatGPT is my day one, my regular. It's the first place I go to for a lot of things. If I need to like be very grounded, and if I don't want to hear you are very correct or you're absolutely right from Claude, I go
From
straight to
where?
ChatGPT, because I know ChatGPT is going to keep it real from Claude.
No, ChatGPT
Because
doesn't keep it real.
Claude,
It's always for
it
real.
does. Claude is a
Ah,
people pleaser.
which
You
version,
already
which
tell
model
Claude.
are you using? It's always saying like it's always too eager
I'm using
to please.
Sonnet.
ChatGPT
No,
is
for me,
eager to please.
for ChatGPT. Oh, I'm on most of the time. I'm using this thing. O three or O4. So the reasoning model is
Think it
GPT-4o, I
was. I
think,
have
is
a
good.
completely different
Then
experience.
O4 main is also good.
Sure. Okay. So the next one is Notion, Apple Notes, Google Docs.
Notion, I think I can kill Notion for me because I don't use Notion at all. And even in most of the companies that I have in, nobody reads Notion. To be honest, I'll tell you the truth is that no, only people that are very serious about like documentation and like extremely serious about like writing things in Notion or use Notion every day and cannot do without using Notion, use it. For me, I don't use Notion. I don't know. I've had Notion at almost every company I've worked at, and it's anytime I tell somebody or people to read things on Notion, it's extremely hard. People find it easier to read something on GitHub, like inside a very obscure place on GitHub, on Stack Overflow, on Slack, on even inside like a meeting, Google Meets chat. They will legit even read it faster inside places like that. And if you tell them that, oh, I have this documentation written on this one, I'll share the link. Half of the time, I literally shared one link to one of my teams for like how many months, and I told people at the bottom to indicate that they read it, and nobody ever indicated that they read it. Maybe they did not just, and I was able to know that these people had read it because also they have not read it because a lot of them like they didn't even know what I was talking about when I asked them like almost a year later. And I was like, oh, I'll be sending this link.
Okay.
I've been reminding you guys for almost five months. And you guys are supposed to even like
Mm.
indicate that you read it and you have agreed to like what was written inside here because it was like an
Mm.
SLA. But, nobody even read that one. So it's nice to have your company's documentation done and kept on Notion. But Notion is a kind of place, it's more like it's like an archive, like a library. You drop it there and then you only go back when you actually need something that is
There.
it cannot be found on Slack, cannot be found anywhere. In fact, most of the time, if you even search for Notion on Slack, it's good for a conversation that was relating to what was being spoken about on Notion. So what else what was
So
option?
I said Notion, I said Notes,
Google
and then I said Google Docs.
Notes. Which of the notes? I like Apple Notes. Apple Notes is my go-to if I'm like trying to like take extremely fast notes. Maybe I'm trying to like jot down like something someone is saying or trying to like keep context like for maybe an ideas or a bunch of my ideas, a bunch of my goals. I just write it in Apple Notes and keep it there. Um, might not come back to it for like maybe 2 or 3 years, but at least it's there. Um, Google Docs, huh? We only use it when we have to, maybe when it's time to like edit one old document or something or touch up on some things that are like, but I barely use Google Docs. I barely use Google Docs.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
like
so
right
it
now, if I want to
seems
read
like
anything, I'd rather open Cursor and write it in Cursor than open Google Docs to write it in Google Docs.
that's such a depth thing to say, Sha. But yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
faster to be honest.
Okay, so last one: Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Hmm, I think my top two would be Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm always online on Twitter and LinkedIn. Instagram barely sees me. Like right now, I think my notifications on Instagram have been off for almost 2 to 3 years. So if anyone is sending me a message on Instagram, trust me, I won't see that message until I deliberately open Instagram to go through things. And anytime I'm on Instagram, I have like a 10 minutes of 15 minutes attention span. Once that period is over, I'm closing Instagram for the day. I might not even come back until maybe whenever think about, oh, I
Something
haven't really
needs you
opened
there
Instagram
again.
for a while. So nothing really takes me to Instagram, but I still go there because I also want to like, oh, what's happening here? And then I open the app and I just scroll through for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, till next time. But I'm always active on Twitter. I mean, at least this year, last year, I wasn't really active on Twitter. I deactivated my account for like extremely long periods of time. I'll literally deactivate and reactivate it. They don't delete my account and then I deactivate immediately. I reactivate and then go on hiatus for like a long period of time and then come back. So, but this year I'm like, oh, actively trying to like build and talk about things I'm building, I'm working on and all.
So
So
you're
yeah, Twitter
active
has seen a lot
back.
more of me this year. I'm very active on Twitter.
Yeah.
Very active, but not as active as I used to be in previous years, mind you, because um, in previous years, especially during 2020, 2020 to 2023,
One.
I was extremely active. I was too active on social media. That's why, like 2024, I had to like cut down completely on my Twitter usage to kind of like regulate it. So now my Twitter is mostly for important things and like trying to like talk about like things I'm working on, engage with people, community, more focused, more calmer, and it's a lot like more educated.
So if this
Yeah,
was the
but
one episode or the one episode people listen to like when they come on the YouTube, what do you want them to live with?
I think I want them to live with start getting on AI because AI is actually here to stay. I think something like that along that line. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, the AI bubble is going to burst. So I don't really think it's a bubble. And even if it's a bubble, even though it pops, it's never really going to go away. AI has like changed a lot of like things in ways that I don't think we'll be able to go back to how it was before we knew about like
The
these
time
tools and
before. Mhm.
these like models and this time before. So right now, the new generation they are coming into a world that might be a lot more scarier than the world that we knew before. So they should brace up, and also they are going to have a lot more challenges than we faced. It's going to get so bad because AI is not going to get worse. It's going to get even better, and very soon we're going to be in serious problems if we don't arrange ourselves beforehand.
Yeah. Who is one person you would love to see here? I know I asked it before, but I wanted to say it here, just in case they are listening.
Hmm. I think one of the designers that I really like. I think her work is really good. I wrote her name there, Neye Uba. I think she's one of the best people like I would like to see on this show.
Where did you
I
work with
think there are a
her?
couple of
What
other guys.
what did you work with her on?
I think on a couple of like private projects, and that more are coming out to the public due time. But yeah, her work is really good. She's also working on like a couple of products right now. That are
Yeah,
also going to
I
be made
think I
public.
know
So
I know that account. I think yes, I think I saw her from you. I think I stumbled upon her portfolio
yes,
from one of your tweets, and yeah, I
yeah.
really it left a mark. Yeah, really solid
Yeah, she's one
stuff.
of the best upcoming
Really
designers like
solid stuff.
in
Yeah,
the current space. So
shout out to
thank
Naya.
you. And for I think for development, you could also reach out to um who do I know is building something cool. I think the guys at like Witro Cloud, I think they're building like a very cool like AI focused like platform, and also the guys at Brainbow.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chizi, for coming. For the people that are going to be listening, if you know anybody that you love to see behind the shape, please put their name in the comments. I'd love to find out those people and talk to them. Thank you so much. Bye.